Hey everyone, we have some exciting news when it comes to the state handgun roster in the state of California. Because of the Boland versus Bonta case, which I am a plaintiff in, that is being put on by the CRPA and now the legal team from the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruin case handling it, we have some exciting news when it comes to new handguns being added to the roster. Previously, we saw some rimfire guns like the Ruger Mark IV and the SR22. We saw some rimfires get added to the roster because those only require magazine disconnects in order to be semi-auto. Now that the micro stamping is no longer in effect pending the rest of this court case, handguns can get added to the roster if they have a loaded chamber indicator and a magazine disconnect. Both features are somewhat feasible, whether they're desired or not. They are able to be implemented by manufacturers. Now, not a big fan of loaded chamber indicators, as I testified on and as I've said many times before. Not a big fan of magazine disconnects. However, magazine disconnects, fortunately, tend to be very easily modified to be removed. Because if you pull the trigger, you want the gun to go bang, whether or not there's a magazine in it. Having a feature designed to stop an idiot from shooting them in the face accidentally, you're never going to be able to stop all the idiots. So, new gun added to the roster by Sig Sauer, the M18. Now, if we look at the state of the California handgun roster, it's not in the drop-down menu for Sig Sauer, but it is in the recently added handgun models. We don't really have any information from Sig Sauer. I haven't seen any pre-release news talking about it, so it's kind of just an exciting little thing to see on Reddit today. But the P320, which uses a fire control unit that is the firearm, so you can configure your gun like this if you wanted to, but the model that's on the roster has a little asterisk next to it. What that means is, if we look at the state handgun roster website, it means that that handgun was added due to the Boland versus Bonta case. It's kind of cool for the state to give us a little shout out like that. But this gun, from our understanding currently, is going to be semi-auto. So you will be able to buy a semi-automatic from the factory Sig Sauer M18. Could we see more models added in the future from Sig? Most likely. If they're willing to do this, they're likely willing to do a whole lot of other models and variations. Maybe we'll see a P365 in the future, which would be awesome, to not have to go the single shot route, to not have to pay high prices on the secondhand market. The cool thing about the P320, completely modular. The trigger fire control unit is the firearm. The rest of it is just parts that you can have shipped to your house. So how do we know that it's going to be semi-auto? Well, first of all, if it wasn't semi-auto, it would just get added to the roster regardless of the Boland versus Bonta case being successful, which it was so far. Since it has that little asterisk, that's a huge sign. Another huge sign is that dealers like Ammo Bros down in SoCal, they actually apparently had some sort of insider access or insider information like many big dealers do. They confirmed that it is going to be semi-auto from our understanding right now. So semi-auto P320 in the state of California on the roster. There's no questions about legality because the state of California literally says, here is the approved list of handguns you can buy, and it's on that list now. Nothing to worry about when it comes to single shot conversions, which many people aren't comfortable doing. Whether you are comfortable with that or not, this is just going to be another huge option for us in the state of California. I don't know an MSRP yet, but I'm expecting it will be most likely slightly higher than a typical P320 that you'll see on the market, because it's going to have the magazine disconnect and loaded chamber indicator. That means more involvement, smaller batches, higher cost to produce, more effort on the company's part, but I am glad to see that they did put the effort in. From the teasing that I've seen from some dealers, because I don't have all the insider access they do, it seems as if in the very near future, we are going to see more manufacturers producing firearms that are semi-auto, are center fire, are handguns that are going to be on the approved list in the very near future. I imagine many companies got on that as soon as they could because we got our ruling only a couple months ago. It takes about, from my understanding, from what I've talked to manufacturers that have got guns on the roster, it's about a 4 to 6 month process from the time that they submit to the time that it lands on the roster. It seems from what we are hearing from the dealers that September-ish is the likely selling date or release date that will actually see these P320s on the market. They're probably not going to put a whole lot of time and effort into developing infrastructure to build these guns if they don't get approved. So that's probably why there is that delay between right now. It is the middle of July, August, September. We're looking at least 2 months before we see these hitting the street because they're probably ramping up production right now. or at least maybe they started a couple weeks ago when things really started moving for them. I'm excited to see what this holds in the future, what sort of handguns we can get. If you want to support, you can support the CRPA with their Boland versus Bonta case, donate to them. Also, Firearms Policy Coalition has a similar lawsuit, Reno versus Bonta, R-E-N-N-A, not my name, Reno. Reno versus Bonta, I believe, is the FPC case. If you want to support them as well, you can, but I'm very thankful that I have been a part of this. Obviously, this isn't my doing. I'm just a plaintiff, but I do believe in the work that the CRPA is doing, and I'm happy to be a part of it. Really cool seeing some progress being made on a court case that has been decades and decades in the making, and I'm just happy to be a part of it. Let me know what you guys think down below. Are you going to pick one of these up? You guys know the drill. Have fun, be safe, stay dangerous. Peace.